Hello everyone, my name is John Yavrouian. I'm a student at Victoria University, instructed by Professor Brian Campbell, and this is my video log number 2 presentation. I've learned about the process of writing thus far English Composition 2 course. The course involved learning from the textbook titled Practical Argument and Text and Ontology. In this presentation are two of my favorite discussions with my classmate. A. Week 2 Discussion 1, Argumentative Appeals. B. Week 3 Discussion 1, Sources. Introducing Week 2 Discussion 1, Argumentative Appeals. Aristotle's ingredients for persuasion, otherwise known as appeals, are known by the names of ethos, pathos, and lotos. They are all means of persuading others to take a particular point of view. Strong argumentative appeals have a balance of all the three, although logos, the logical appeal, is essential for a strong, valid argument. Appeals, however, can also be misused, creating arguments that are not credible. Further, logical appeals is a strategic use of logic claims and evidence to convince the audience of certain point. When used correctly, logical appeals contain the following elements: clear claims, reasonable qualifiers for claims, warrant that are valid, strong evidence, and acknowledgement of the position. When used poorly, logical appeals may include overgeneralizing claims, reasons that are not fully claimed or supported, logical fallacies, evident misuse or ignored, and not recognition of opposing views. Additionally, ethos, the ethical appeals, is used to establish the writer as fair, open-minded, honest, knowledgeable, trustworthy, and credible. When used correctly, the writer is seen as well-informed about the topic, confidence in his or her position, understanding of the reader's concern, humane and considerate. When used incorrectly, the writer can be viewed as unfair, misrepresenting information, dismissive of other viewpoints, and advocating ignorance ideas. Finally, pathos, the emotional appeal, targets the emotions of the reader to create some kind of connection with the writer. Since humans are in many ways emotional creatures, pathos can be a very powerful strategy in argument. For the same reason, however, emotional appeals is often misused, sometimes to intentionally mislead the reader or to hide an argument that is weak in logical appeal. When done well, emotional appeals reinforce logical argument, use in diction or imagery to create a bond with the reader in human way, appealing of idealism, beauty, and humor. When used improperly, emotional appeals become a substitute for logic and reason. Lastly, summarizing, credibility means an argument is logically sound, well supported, with strong evidence and reasoning. While effectiveness means an argument works in convincing or persuading its audience, many arguments that are effective are also credible, but there are also many that aren't. The next discussion, week 3, discussion 1, sources, are these guidelines will use sources in writing to provide the criteria where they are reliable enough to be used for research. Once we have learned establishing whether the sources are accurate, evaluating it should be simple. As reading each potential source, consider the quality of the supporting evidence that the writer provides. The more compelling the evidence, the more willing you should be to accept the writer's idea and perhaps to integrate these ideas into your own essay. To be convincing, the evidence that is presented in the source you reviewed should be accurate, relevant, representative, and sufficient. According to the criteria for evaluating evidence, your sources, there are 6 steps. 1. Accuracy and quality refer to correctness, truthfulness, overall excellence of information. To determine a source's accuracy and quality, there are these questions. Is the information logical, well organized, and supported by evidence? Has it been edited or peer-reviewed? Is it free from errors, both content errors and spelling or grammar errors? 2. Authority refers to the author or other sources of information. To determine a source's authority, consider the answer to these questions. Who is the author? What are the author's credentials? With what organization is the author affiliated? Has biographical information provided? Has the author supplied his or her contact information? What is the publisher or the sponsoring organization? 3. Purpose and objectivity. Purpose refers to the reason for which the author has produced the information, and objectivity refers to a straight presentation of information without prejudice. To determine a source's purpose and objectivity, consider the answer of these questions. What are the author's or producer's goal and intentions? Does the information consist mostly of the facts, or does it contain opinion? Is the author upfront about saying any affiliation or importance? Is the author biased? Is this or her views? Or does the author present information in the way that is fair and balanced? Does the source contain strong language or images designed to arouse certain emotions? 4. Corroboration and coverage refers to the thoroughness and consistency of the information. To determine the source, corroborating and coverage, consider the answer to these questions. Does the source contain enough information? Is it thorough? Does the reference other sources? How does it relate to other sources on the same topic? Is it consistent with other information? Does it contain code from other sources. Number 5. Currency refers to the time and the information was produced. To determine a source's currency, consider the answer to these questions. When was the information published, and has it been updated since its original publication? How important is recent information to your topic? Number 6. Relevance refers how well the source meets your own information needs. To determine a source relevance, consider the answer to these questions. How closely does the information source relate to your research question? At what level the information been produced, or what kind of audience has the information been created? Evaluating sources of information is an important step in any research activity. The above information is cited from the following references: Kirchner and Mandel 2010, Practical Argument; Medell 2010, Evaluating Sources, retrieved from Knowledge Center, unr.edu, University Writing Center, the 3 appeals of argument, available from uwc.ucf.edu. Thank you.